up on today's show, Tesla sends Powerwalls to Ukraine and shows citizens how to use them as portable power stations. Rivian publishes its quarterlies and year-end figures, and Lucid launches a new web series where it tells you how its vehicles work. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to TN or Transport Evolved News. I'm glad you're joining us. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell, as well as making sure you've set your alert preferences on your mobile phone or browser, and hopefully you'll find out when our next video goes live. Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. As the illegal invasion of Ukraine by Russia begins its third week, the sheer horror of brutal, indiscriminate bombing has been on display for all to see. For many of us, watching from afar, all we can do is send aid. And we do have some links in the description to help you do that. But Elon Musk has continued his own support efforts through SpaceX and Tesla. Last week we told you about SpaceX donating Starlink terminals to Ukraine and Tesla waiving charging fees on its Ukrainian supercharger network. This week, Tesla has expanded those waivers to neighbouring Poland and Slovakia, as well as send truckloads of specially modified Tesla Powerwalls to Ukraine. A YouTube channel called Mobile Powerwall, which we can't verify belongs to Tesla or not, has published a video showing Ukrainians how to hook up a Powerwall as a mobile power bank. Finally, Tesla has told its Ukrainian employees that they can be paid for 3 months if they decide to return to or stay in Ukraine to fight for their country's freedom. Tesla and Musk don't always do the right thing, but in this case, we can only give praise. It had long been hoped that the COVID-caused parts shortage around the world would have started to ease by now, but exacerbated by the situation in Ukraine, as several auto industry insiders have confirmed to the channel, it's just getting worse. This week we saw more evidence of that. Ford has opted to halt new orders of its California Route 1 and premium trim levels of the Mustang Mach-E. Reported by several news outlets this week and confirmed by our local dealer here in Portland, Oregon, the demand for the higher-end Mach-E premium and road-tripping California Route 1 has pushed wait times out by an inordinate amount. Ford has chosen to halt taking further orders in order to, quote, focus on building existing customer orders, end quote. For now, if you want a Mach-E, you'll have to spec a base-level model or a higher-end GT or GT Performance, or hope you can find an already built one at your local dealership. It's official. Tesla's Giga Berlin is a go, and the first deliveries of German-made Teslas will take place at Giga Berlin at a special event on the evening of March 22nd. As we detailed in last week's show, Tesla received conditional approval to begin operations at Giga Berlin last week, and now appears to have worked to satisfy the majority of those conditions at the time of recording. While Tesla's official invite to the event shows a grey Model Y, it appears from various posts on social media and Tesla owner forums that every one of those who've been invited to pick up their cars on the 22nd of March ordered a black Model Y Performance. Given that black is the only solid colour on offer for Model Y right now, and more complex options are expected out of Giga Berlin from May onwards, this makes total sense. Rivian has published its official Q4 and year-end financials, and with production of its R1T and R1S in early days, it continued to turn a loss. According to official figures, Rivian delivered a total of 920 vehicles last year, bringing in a total of $55 million in revenue. Rivian turned a gross loss of $465 million on those vehicles, which, given it's only been making them for a few months, isn't much of a surprise. Overall, despite receiving a huge 100,000 vehicle order from Amazon for its electric delivery vehicle, something it's having to invest money in to fulfill, Rivian recorded a Q4 adjusted loss of $2.461 billion and a financial year 21 adjusted net loss of $4.68 billion. Also worthy of note, Rivian adjusted its production volume estimates downward for this year to 25,000 trucks, citing the ongoing chip shortage as the reason. There are significant numbers of academic papers out there that debunk the old myth that electric vehicles produce more in their lifetime in terms of pollution than ICE cars. But another complaint of naysayers that fossil fuel power stations will have to remain online to satisfy increased demand of EV charging has just been debunked by a new study from non-profit RMI. It's just shown in its newest report, More EVs, Fewer Emissions, that using the right mix of charging stations, a good local grid mix, and smart charging technology could actually lower overall grid emissions rather than raise them, even with an increased EV ownership. This is not only true in states where there's a high amount of renewable energy generation, but also true in states where fossil fuels still account for the lion's share of the grid mix, since grid-connected charging stations can turn off when grid demand is at its highest. Chinese startup NIO has been offering a range of electric vehicles for a number of years in its home market of China, and its latest vehicle, the ET7 sedan, is its most advanced yet, occupying the flagship model position within the brand. Offering semi-autonomous driving, Tesla-like acceleration, and a claimed range in excess of 1,000 kilometres, 621 miles per charge, on the admittedly optimistic NEDC test cycle, the ET7 is due to begin deliveries in its home market of China at the end of this month. In preparation for the same, NIO has begun offering reservation holders the chance to get behind the wheel and experience the ET7 for the first time. Joining the ES8, ES6 and EC6 SUVs in the marketplace, the ET7 is NIO's first sedan, and with similar sizing to the Tesla Model S, is clearly meant to cross-shop against it. Only time will tell if that's the case. Floridian Governor Ron DeSantis has been in the news a lot lately, partly due to the state's approach to COVID-19 mandates and partly due to its attempts to dictate what schools can and can't teach when it comes to Black history and being queer. But now there's a new thing to be frustrated at Florida about, a new bill that Ron DeSantis says he will sign, which would end net metering for solar panel owners. This would make it more expensive for citizens to install and use solar panels on their home. Some critics of the bill even state that it would end most new solar panel deployment, since it would make generating solar power on your roof more expensive and complicated than just buying power from the local utility. It's a move that reeks of lobbyist dollars, and in this case, dollars from the local utility company, one that happens to be owned by the world's largest renewable energy developer. Corruption is apparently alive and well. Oh, and Governor DeSantis, we here at the channel are going to say gay. Gay, 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 gay. Public buses have a hard life. Not only do they travel millions of miles in their lifetime, but they can often be in service for 20, 30 or even 40 years before being replaced. And that means right now there are a lot of smelly, polluting diesel buses still on the roads of the world. But one European company, Saietta Group plc and its partner Retro-Motion, want to change that. They've developed a conversion kit which they say can transform diesel-powered buses into zero-emission electric buses capable of travelling up to 350 kilometres, 217 miles per charge. While this isn't anywhere near the range of new, ground-up, all-electric buses, it is important to know that in many urban situations, buses rarely travel more than a couple of 100 miles in a shift, and this makes these conversions ideal for city routes, school buses, and more. Whenever you mention the topic of in-demand new electric vehicles, there's always someone in the comments who brings up the topic of additional dealer markups. For those who don't know, that's the practice that some dealers engage in of adding an additional premium to an in-demand vehicle's price over and above the manufacturer's suggested retail price, simply because they can, in fact. In the last few years, we've seen all kinds of crazy markups on both EVs and non-EVs, but in recent months, automakers like Ford and General Motors have frowned on the practice, threatening dealerships who do it with dire consequences. So when we heard about a new Hummer EV being listed at $310,000 US, we thought it was another dealership getting greedy. But it turns out, though, It's almost as bad. A reservation holder who purchased the Edition 1 and is now flipping it for profit. Apparently, though, it sold. So, yeah. When it comes to sharing what makes a vehicle tick, automakers can be somewhat coy. After all, why publicly share what makes a vehicle work when the competitors might be listening? But this week, Lucid did just that, launching a new series which it says will share some of the technical prowess behind its first car, the Lucid Air. The first video, published this week, features Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson, who spent many years engineering vehicles at companies ranging from Lotus and Jaguar Land Rover through to Tesla, giving a 30-minute or thereabouts deep dive into the battery pack of the Air sedan. I personally love listening to and talking with Peter, and this video is very easy to follow, so if you'd like to know more about EV batteries, make sure you set aside some time to watch it. Coming up next, short shorts. But first, have you considered becoming a supporter? While TE does have other income streams, like third-party production work, the overwhelming majority comes from folks just like you. We have a team of 3 full-time and 2 part-time staff, and making payroll for everyone can be a bit of a challenge. As the one who doesn't always get paid when money is tight, I can tell you that we would love to increase our Patreon and YouTube membership. So if you can, stick around until the end and I will tell you more. And by the way, we've committed, if we can increase our income by 30%, we're going to bring back the original Transport Evolved podcast. On to the short shorts. Over the years, Nissan has demonstrated its electric vehicle tech in very many weird ways, including fully autonomous office chairs. But to demo the e-Force tech in its Nissan Ariya, it's turned to a tiny model that's designed to deliver ramen without spilling it. LG Energy Solutions, which provides battery packs to General Motors and other car companies, has acquired a license from US-based CAMX Power for a new nickel-based cathode material for use in its lithium-ion batteries, which will ultimately reduce its cobalt content. The US EPA, as expected, has granted California the right to yet again set up its own regulations at a state level when it comes to electric vehicle sales and tailpipe emissions. California has traditionally set tougher emissions and EV standards than the federal government. eVTOL specialist Volocopter has completed its latest funding round with €153 million in the bank. The Series E funding round was led by South Korean investment firm called WP Investment. The funds will accelerate Volocopter's development process. The Catalan Association of Sports and Tourist Harbours has partnered with British company Aqua Superpower to create a chain of rapid charging stations for electric watercraft along Catalonia's coastline. They will join existing aquatic charging infrastructure already in place. Pacific Gas and Electric and General Motors have partnered up to work together on a new pilot program starting this summer that will see GM electric vehicles feed power back to homes and eventually the electric grid during peak demand periods and power cuts. A new scientific paper published in The Jewel casts doubt on the established wisdom that solid-state batteries are inherently safer than traditional batteries. It shows that lithium dendrites and puncture-infected ignition can still occur, even with solid electrolyte chemistries. As the war in Ukraine intensifies, analysts are beginning to warn that the dream of cheaper EVs and cheaper battery packs could be slowed down considerably by the conflict. Nickel, lithium, and other BEV elements are soaring in cost, and that could make EVs more expensive. That said, as the price of oil goes higher and higher on the back of oil sanctions against Russia, demand for EVs is soaring worldwide. In the US, many EVs are experiencing a surge in demand, with Tesla sales rumoured to have doubled. A new study by the US Department of Energy predicts that by 2035, electric medium and heavy-duty trucks will be cheaper to own and operate than diesel counterparts, with 1/2 of all electric medium and heavy-duty trucks reaching that point by 2030. General Motors has announced a major expansion to its battery supply chain by signing a partnership with Canadian company Posco to build a $400 million cathode production facility. Their cathode material will be produced for Ultium battery packs. As the price of nickel rises, Tesla has updated the pricing of its Model 3 and Model Y long-range variants, pushing up the sticker price by $1,000 each. The Model Y Performance also gets a $1,000 price hike for the same reason. GM is often seen in the EV world as the devil after its part in crushing the EV1, and now Michigan lawmakers, who I presume have a sense of humour, have approved a $666 million incentive package to help fund new GM EV and battery production facilities within the state. Honda has officially launched its first electric motorcycle after years of teasing prototypes. Sadly though, while the CRF E2 looks the part, it might be too small for most folk, as it's a dirt bike designed primarily for use by children. It offers a 2-hour run time. Elon Musk has officially asked the court dealing with the 2018 case between him and the SEC to terminate the SEC's policing of any tweets he makes relating to Tesla. We don't know if the court has agreed to Musk's request, but we'll keep you posted. Gogoro, the company behind the highly successful battery swap program for electric mopeds and scooters, has just unveiled its first solid-state battery prototype. The prototype offers a 40% increase in energy density, meaning far more range. Tesla, like most automakers, is struggling to secure enough parts to keep up with vehicle demand, and this week we learned that it is now prioritising customers who opted to spec their new Model 3 or Y with full self-driving, reducing wait times for them by 4 months. Chevrolet has begun to tease video and photos of its upcoming all-electric Chevy Blazer SS. It will be the first Chevy to wear the SS badge and will be officially revealed later this year. But like it did for the Silverado EV teasers, there's not a lot to see from this one right now. The Mercedes-Benz EQS is being recalled to rectify a wiring fault that could cause the vehicle to stop working properly. The issue relates to a faulty ground connection on the electric auxiliary heater, which could lead to a fire. But at the current time, no fires have been reported. Volkswagen has officially greenlit a brand new $2.2 billion investment to build a brand new facility at its headquarters in Wolfsburg, Germany. The factory will be home to production of Volkswagen's upcoming halo car, known as Project Trinity. Smart will officially mark the move towards crossovers like everyone else by unveiling its production version of its #1 electric crossover this April. It will be produced and sold as a Chinese market-only vehicle, and when we know more, we will share. Talking of China, plug-in sales data just released from the start of this year show that EV sales in China more than doubled at the start of the year, with 372,615 plug-in cars sold in January. That's a lot of plugs. XPeng has officially opened the order books for its P5 electric sedan in the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway and Sweden. The first European markets to get the chance to order a P5, XPeng is reiterating that customers won't need to make a deposit to get in line to buy one. Yamaha Motor Europe has officially unveiled its new lineup of electric two-wheelers, including 3 electric bikes, 2 concepts and 1 production electric scooter. That scooter, called the NIO, is targeted as a 50cc equivalent step-throw. January EV sales data for the US is in, and unlike China, where Tesla came in 4th place behind the Wuling Hongguan Mini EV and 2 BYD plug-ins, Tesla dominated the US sales charts, accounting for nearly 3/4 of all EVs sold in January. Supply chain issues exacerbated by Russia's invasion of Ukraine has caused Porsche to halt all production of the Taycan. It's not clear when production will resume, but the Taycan is just one of a number of electric cars from Volkswagen Group companies to temporarily halt production. Hero Electric has just unveiled its latest electric scooter to hit the India market, called the Eddy. It retails from 72,000 rupees, making it one of the most affordable electric scooters on the Indian market. There's no news on range per charge or top speed. Rivian's unexpected price hike last week, which led to a massive revolt from customers and a backtrack from the company on just who would have to pay extra, has led to one shareholder suing the company. He alleges Rivian underpriced its vehicles before its IPO. Following in the tyre tracks of its cousin, the Kia EV6, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is built on the same EJMP platform as the Kia EV6, has been awarded the title of UK Car of the Year, as well as winning Best Family Car title of the Year. And those are your shorts. There will be more next week. When Ford unveiled the Mustang Mach-E a few years ago, there was much wailing and gnashing of teeth from purists who felt the Mustang nameplate couldn't and shouldn't be attached to an electric crossover. Some were aghast at the idea of an EV at all, but others said an all-electric Mustang needed to have the classic Mustang fastback body style. For those in that second camp then, there's now a new car to lust after, the Charge Ford Mustang EV. It's based on a 1967 Mustang fastback, or at least its officially licensed brand new body shell is. But the rest? Well, everything is new, including custom suspension, custom brakes and a dual motor rear-wheel drive powertrain. With a 4-second sprint time and DC quick charging as standard, only 499 examples will be made. The price? £300,000 sterling. Ouch! We've been waiting with interest as the Hoonigan, aka Ken Block, has slowly embraced the world of electric vehicles, trading in some of his gas-guzzling Gymkhana cars for all-electric versions. And this year, we've seen him transition his partnership from Ford to Audi with a whole new slew of high-end performance electric Gymkhana models planned. And this week, he shared one of the first cars to come from his Audi partnership. Not a race-prepped car, but a daily driver in the form of an Audi RS e-tron GT. But being Ken Block, it's not just a stock car. It's been given a custom matte white wrap with black accents as well as custom wheels. Unusually, the front wheels and rear wheels are different designs, but underneath, we're told the car is mechanically stock. But I don't see it staying that way for long. Do you? And on that note, we are done for the day. Before I go, a huge thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They have been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help you make the switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. And if you become a member, you'll gain access to a brand new clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. You can find out more by heading to electricauto.org. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell for this channel and our second channel, Transport Evolved Take 2. And if you're not already a channel member or Patreon supporter, please consider becoming one. You can send us a tip also through Ko-fi or Bitcoin, or you can check out our cool swag store. Michael and I are out of the office on a top secret trip next week, but Kate, Winter and the rest of the gang will keep you happy with some great content in the meantime. So enjoy your weekend and as always, keep evolving.